Have you ever felt like you and your mom are speaking completely different languages? Even though you love each other deeply, one moment you're laughing together. The next, you're caught in a heated argument that leaves you both hurt and confused. Why does this happen? What's the hidden truth behind the clashes that so many daughters face with their mothers? In this video, we're diving deep into Carl Jung's profound wisdom to uncover the psychological reasons behind these conflicts, from the shadow self to the mother complex. You'll discover why these tensions arise, how they shape your life, and most importantly, how to heal and grow from them. Stick with us until the end to learn practical steps to transform your relationship with your mom and unlock your truest self. And don't forget to share your story in the comments. What's one moment with your mom that changed how you see her? Let's get started. Imagine this. You're sitting across from your mom at the dinner table, and what starts as a simple conversation about your weekend plans spirals into a full-blown argument. You're frustrated. She's upset. And neither of you knows exactly how you got here. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. Clashes between mothers and daughters are so common, they almost feel like a rite of passage. But why do these conflicts happen, and why do they cut so deep? In this chapter, we're peeling back the layers to understand why these tensions are practically universal. And we'll set the stage for how Carl Jung's psychology can help us make sense of it all. So, let's dive in. First, let's acknowledge the obvious. Mothers and daughters share a bond like no other. It's a relationship filled with love, shared secrets, and moments of pure joy, like when your mum taught you how to braid your hair or cheered you on at your first school play. But that same bond can also be a battleground. One minute, you're laughing over a shared memory. The next, you're arguing over something as small as a comment about your outfit or as big as your career choices. These clashes aren't just random. They're rooted in deep psychological patterns that Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychologist, spent his life decoding. Let's meet Sarah, a 25-year-old graphic designer who loves her mom but can't seem to have a conversation without it turning into a debate. Just last week, Sarah mentioned she was thinking about switching jobs to pursue a more creative role. Her mom, well-meaning but skeptical, responded with, "Are you sure that's stable enough? You need to think about your future." Sarah felt judged, dismissed, and instantly defensive. Before she knew it, they were arguing not about the job, but about how her mom never supports her dreams. Sarah walked away feeling hurt, and her mom was left confused, wondering why her advice caused such a storm. Does this sound like a moment you've had with your mom? This kind of tension isn't just about the surface-level disagreement. According to Jung, these clashes often stem from something called the mother complex, a powerful, unconscious force that shapes how daughters see themselves and their mothers. The mother complex isn't just about your actual mom. It's about the image of mother that lives in your psyche. For some, this image is nurturing and warm. But for others, it can feel controlling, critical, or even suffocating. When Sarah's mom questioned her career choice, it wasn't just about the job. It triggered Sarah's deeper fear that she'll never live up to her mom's expectations. That's the mother complex at work, stirring up emotions that turn small moments into big conflicts. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Anna, a 30-year-old teacher who feels like she's constantly walking on eggshells around her mom. Anna's mom has a habit of comparing her to her more successful cousin, Lisa, who just got a big promotion. Every time Anna visits, her mom drops comments like, "Lisa's doing so well, why don't you try something like that?" Anna loves her mom, but these comparisons make her feel small, like she's never enough. Their conversations often end in silence or a sharp exchange, with Anna retreating to her car, wondering why she even bothers trying to connect. If you've ever felt like your mom's words cut deeper than they should, You're tapping into the same dynamic. Carl Jung would say that these conflicts aren't just personal, they're archetypal. The mother-daughter relationship is one of the most primal connections in human experience, tied to the archetype of the Great Mother. This archetype represents both creation and destruction, love and judgment. When you clash with your mum, you're not just arguing with the person who raised you, you're wrestling with this larger-than-life image that's been part of humanity forever. That's why these fights feel so intense. They're not just about today's disagreement, they're about your identity, your worth, and your place in the world. But here's the thing, these conflicts, as painful as they are also an opportunity. Carl Jung believed that every challenge in life is a chance to grow, to move toward what he called individuation, the process of becoming your truest, most authentic self. The tension between you and your mom isn't just a problem to fix, it's a doorway to understanding yourself better. By recognizing the patterns behind these clashes, you can start to untangle the emotions and expectations that keep you stuck. So, what makes these mother-daughter conflicts so universal? For one, mothers and daughters are often mirrors of each other. You see parts of yourself in her, maybe her strength, her stubbornness, or even her insecurities, but you also see the parts you don't want to admit, the parts Carl Jung would call your shadow. When your mum criticizes you, it might sting because it touches on a fear you're already carrying, like not being good enough or not having control over your life. At the same time, your mum might be projecting her own fears or unfulfilled dreams onto you, creating a cycle of misunderstanding. Another factor is the push and pull of independence. As a daughter, you're wired to seek your own path, to carve out your identity, separate from your mum. But that drive for independence can feel like rejection to her, especially if she's deeply invested in your life. Carl Jung called this the struggle for individuation, a natural, necessary part of growing up, but one that can spark conflict when both sides are holding on too tight or letting go too soon. Before we move on, let's pause and reflect. These stories, Sarah's frustration, Anna's hurt, might feel personal, but they're part of a bigger pattern. The mother complex, the shadow, the archetype of the Great Mother. These are forces at play in every mother-daughter relationship. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the shadow and how it fuels these clashes. But for now, think about this. What's one moment with your mum that left you feeling misunderstood or hurt? Hold that thought, because understanding it is the first step to healing. Have you ever snapped at your mum over something small, only to wonder later why you got so upset? Maybe it was a passing comment about your messy room, or a question about your plans that set you off. If you've ever felt a spark of anger that seemed bigger than the moment called for, you might be brushing up against what Carl Jung called the shadow, the hidden part of yourself you don't want to face. In this chapter, we're diving into how the shadow fuels mother-daughter conflicts, turning small disagreements into emotional storms. By understanding this hidden force and its partner in crime, projection, you'll see why these clashes feel so intense and how they can be a doorway to self-discovery. Let's explore. The shadow, in Carl Jung's psychology, is like the dark side of your personality, the parts you push away because they feel unacceptable. Maybe it's your anger, your insecurity, or even your need for approval. We all have a shadow. And here's the kicker, we often see it most clearly in the people closest to us. Like our moms. When your mom says something that stings, it might not just be her words, it could be your shadow reacting, making you feel exposed or defensive. And the same goes for her. She might see her own shadow in you, sparking a cycle of misunderstanding that Carl Jung called projection. Let's meet Lisa, a young woman in her early 20s, who's been clashing with her mom over something as simple as her style. Lisa loves bold, colorful outfits. Think bright red dresses and chunky boots. But every time she visits her mom, she gets comments like, "Why don't you dress more like your sister? She looks so professional." To Lisa, these remarks feel like attacks on her identity. One day, after a particularly heated argument, Lisa stormed out, feeling judged and misunderstood. But later, as she cooled off, she started to wonder, why did her mom's words hit so hard? Was it really about the clothes? Or was something deeper at play? According to Carl Jung, Lisa's reaction might be tied to her shadow. Deep down, Lisa worries that her bold choices make her stand out too much, that she's not normal enough to fit in. When her mom criticizes her style, it's like a spotlight on that insecurity, and Lisa's defensiveness kicks in to protect her. But here's where it gets interesting. Lisa's mom might be projecting her own shadow onto her daughter. Maybe she's always felt pressure to conform, to look proper, to please others. And seeing Lisa's fearless style stirs up her own buried desire to break free. Without realizing it, she's projecting that inner conflict onto Lisa, turning a simple comment into a full-blown clash. Projection is like throwing your feelings onto someone else, blaming them for what's really going on inside you. In mother-daughter relationships, this happens all the time. Think about a time your mom got upset over something you did, maybe staying out late or choosing a different path from what she expected. Her reaction might not just be about you. It could be her shadow, her own fears, regrets, or unfulfilled dreams coming to the surface. And when you snap back, you might be projecting your own shadow, like a fear of not being good enough or a need to prove you're in control. Let's look at another story. Meet Claire, a woman in her late 30s who's been struggling with her mom's constant questions about when she'll settle down. Claire's happy with her career and single life, but her mom keeps dropping hints about marriage and grandkids. One evening, during a family dinner, her mom said, "You're not getting any younger." "Claire, don't you want a family like your friends?" Claire felt a wave of anger. "Why can't she just let me live my life?" she thought. The conversation ended in a tense silence, with Claire feeling like her mum didn't respect her choices. But what if Claire's anger wasn't just about her mum's words, Carl Jung would say? Claire's shadow might be at play, maybe a hidden fear that she's missing out on something, or a worry that her choices aren't as fulfilling as she tells herself. At the same time, her mum might be projecting her own shadow, perhaps a regret about not pursuing her own dreams before starting a family. Neither of them sees the full picture. So the conflict grows, fueled by these hidden forces. Carl Jung believed the shadow isn't something to fear, it's a teacher. By noticing when you're projecting or reacting to someone else's projection, you can start to uncover parts of yourself you've been hiding. For daughters, this means looking at what your mum's words trigger in you. Does her criticism make you feel small because it echoes a fear you're not enough? Does her control make you rebel because you're scared of losing yourself? And for mothers, it's about recognizing when you're pushing your own fears or dreams onto your daughter. This awareness is the first step toward breaking the cycle of projection and building a stronger relationship. So, how do you spot the shadow in your conflicts? Start by paying attention to moments when you feel unusually upset. Ask yourself, is this really about what she said? Or is it touching something deeper in me? For Lisa, it might mean realizing her defensiveness about her style is tied to a fear of rejection. For Claire, it could be acknowledging that her mum's questions stir up her own doubts about her life choices. By shining a light on the shadow, you take away its power to control your reactions. This isn't easy. It takes courage to face the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But Carl Jung saw the shadow as a gift, a chance to grow closer to your true self, through what he called individuation. In the next chapter, we'll explore how the mother complex, deepens these conflicts. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about a recent clash with your mom. What did it bring up for you? Have you ever wondered if you're projecting your own fears or insecurities onto her? Hold that thought, because it's the key to unlocking the truth behind your conflicts. Have you ever felt like your mum's expectations are a weight you can't shake? No matter how hard you try, maybe it's the way she looks at you when you make a choice she doesn't approve of, or the subtle pressure to live up to an image you didn't choose. These moments can feel like an invisible grip, holding you back from being your true self. In this chapter, we're diving into Carl Jung's concept of the mother complex, a powerful, often unconscious force that shapes how daughters see themselves and their moms. By understanding this hidden dynamic, you'll uncover why mother-daughter conflicts can feel so suffocating and how they point to a deeper journey of self-discovery. Let's get into it. The mother complex isn't just about your relationship with your actual mom. In Carl Jung's psychology, it's the image of mother that lives in your psyche, a mix of your experiences, cultural ideals, and even ancient archetypes. For some, this image is nurturing, like a warm embrace that makes you feel safe. For others, it can feel like a cage, controlling, critical, or impossibly perfect. This complex influences how you think, act, and feel, often without you realizing it. And when it comes to mother-daughter clashes, the mother complex can turn small disagreements into battles over identity and independence. Let's meet Emily, a woman in her mid-20s who's been struggling with her mom's high expectations. Emily's mom is a successful lawyer, and she's always pushed Emily to aim higher in her career as a freelance writer. Every family gathering, her mom drops comments like, "You're so talented. Emily, why not go for a stable corporate job? Emily loves writing." But these remarks make her feel like her choices are never good enough. Last month, after her mom suggested she think about law school, Emily snapped, saying, "Why can't you just accept who I am?" The argument left them both hurt, with Emily feeling trapped by her mom's vision of success. Sound familiar? Maybe you felt that same pressure to live up to an image that doesn't feel like you. Carl Jung would say, Emily's struggle is a classic example of the mother complex at work. When your mum's expectations or even her love feel like a burden, it's often because the mother complex is shaping how you see yourself. For Emily, her mum's comments trigger a deeper fear that she's disappointing the most important person in her life. But it's not just about Emily's mom. The mother complex can make daughters feel like they're fighting an invisible standard, a perfect daughter who always pleases, always succeeds, always makes mom proud. And when you can't live up to that image, it can spark guilt, resentment, or rebellion, fueling conflicts that seem impossible to resolve. Now, let's look at another story. Meet Sophia, a woman in her early 40s who's been trying to repair her relationship with her mom after years of tension. Sophia's mom was a single parent who sacrificed everything to raise her, and she often reminds Sophia of it. "I gave up so much for you," she'll say when Sophia makes choices she doesn't agree with, like moving to a new city for a job. Sophia feels an overwhelming sense of guilt, like she owes her mom a debt she can never repay. Their conversations often turn into arguments, with Sophia feeling suffocated by her mom's need for gratitude and her mom feeling unappreciated. It's a cycle that leaves them both exhausted. In Carl Jung's view, Sophia's mother complex is tied to the archetype of the great mother, a figure that's both life-giving and devouring. When the mother complex is overly strong, it can make daughters feel like they're being swallowed by their mom's needs or expectations. For Sophia, her mom's sacrifices are a source of love, but also a chain, tying her to a role she didn't choose. This dynamic can lead to what Carl Jung called a negative mother complex, where the daughter either clings too tightly to her mum's approval or rebels against it, creating distance and conflict. The mother complex doesn't just affect daughters, it shapes how mothers interact. 2. Your mum might not even realize she's projecting her own dreams, fears, or regrets onto you. Maybe she sees you as a chance to live the life she didn't, or maybe she's trying to protect you from mistakes she made. Either way, the mother complex can create a push and pull dynamic where both of you feel misunderstood. For Emily, her mum's push for a stable career might come from her own fear of financial insecurity. For Sophia, her mum's reminders of sacrifice might stem from a need to feel valued. These unconscious forces make conflicts feel bigger than they are, turning small moments into battles over who you both are. But here's the good news. The mother complex, as heavy as it feels, is also a guide. Carl Jung believed that every psychological challenge is part of the journey toward individuation, becoming your true, authentic self. The tension you feel with your mom isn't just a problem, it's a signal that you're being called to define who you are, separate from her expectations. For Emily, that might mean embracing her writing career without guilt. For Sophia, it could mean setting boundaries while still honoring her mom's love. By recognizing the mother complex, you can start to loosen its grip and find a balance between connection and independence. So, how do you begin to navigate this invisible force? Start by noticing when your mom's words or actions make you feel trapped or inadequate. Ask yourself, is this about what she said? Or is it about an image I'm trying to live up to? For Emily, it might mean realizing her mom's expectations are more about her mom's fears than Emily's worth. For Sophia, it could be acknowledging that her guilt is tied to an idealized, grateful daughter role. By naming these feelings, you take the first step toward breaking free from the mother complex's hold. This work isn't easy. It requires honesty and courage to face the expectations you've internalized. But Carl Jung saw the mother complex as a teacher, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself. In the next chapter, we'll explore how individuation can help you move beyond these conflicts. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about your relationship with your mum. What expectations or pressures do you feel from her? How has your mum's influence shaped the way you see yourself? Hold that thought, because it's a key to unlocking your path to freedom. Have you ever felt stuck in a cycle of arguments with your mum, wondering if you'll ever break free from the tension? Maybe you love her deeply, but crave the freedom to be yourself without feeling judged or controlled. This longing to be your true self, separate from your mum's expectations, is at the heart of what Carl Jung called individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic self. In this chapter, we're exploring how individuation can help you move beyond mother-daughter conflicts, turning pain into growth and tension into understanding. By embracing this journey, you'll not only heal your relationship with your mum, but also discover who you really are. Let's dive in. Individuation, in Carl Jung's psychology, is about finding balance between who you are as an individual and the roles you play in relationships, like being a daughter. It's not about cutting ties with your mom or rejecting her influence. It's about carving out your own identity while staying connected in a healthy way. For daughters, this can feel like a tightrope walk. You want to honor your mom's love and wisdom, but you also need to follow your own path, even if it differs from what she envisions. When you clash with your mom, it's often a sign that individuation is at work, pushing you to define yourself beyond her expectations or the mother complex we talked about earlier. Let's meet Mia, a woman in her late 20s who's been struggling to find her place in a family where her mom has strong opinions about her life. Mia's passionate about her work as a yoga instructor, but her mom, who values traditional success, keeps pushing her toward a real career in business. Every time Mia tries to share her excitement about teaching yoga, Her mum responds with, "That's nice. But when are you going to get a stable job?" These comments make Mia feel unseen, like her dreams don't matter. For years, their conversations ended in frustration, with Mia either shutting down or lashing out. But recently, Mia decided to try a new approach. Inspired by her own journey of self-discovery, Mia started to see her conflicts with her mom as part of her individuation process. Instead of reacting defensively, she began asking herself, "What do these arguments say about who I am and who I want to be?" She realized that her mum's comments weren't just about yoga. They touched on Mia's fear that she wasn't living up to her potential. A fear she'd carried since childhood. By acknowledging this, Mia took the first step toward individuation, owning her feelings instead of blaming her mom. She also started having open conversations with her mom, explaining why yoga was her calling, and setting boundaries about unsolicited advice. Over time, these talks helped her mom understand her better, and their relationship began to shift from conflict to mutual respect. Individuation isn't just about standing up to your mom, it's about understanding the deeper forces at play, like the shadow and the mother complex we've explored. For daughters, this means recognizing when you're reacting to your mum's words because they trigger insecurities or expectations you've internalized. It also means seeing your mum as a person with her own fears, dreams, and complexes. By doing this, you create space for compassion and connection, even when you disagree. Let's look at another story. Meet Rachel, a woman in her early 30s who's been working to rebuild her relationship with her mom after years of distance. Rachel's mom was always critical of her choices, from her college major to her decision to move abroad for a job. "You're throwing away your future," her mom would say, leaving Rachel feeling like she could never measure up. For years, Rachel pulled away, avoiding calls and visits to protect herself from the criticism. But deep down, she missed her mom and wanted to find a way back. Inspired by Carl Jung's ideas, Rachel decided to approach her relationship differently. Using individuation as her guide, Rachel started by reflecting on her own role in their conflicts. She realized that her mom's criticism hurt so much because it echoed her own fear of failure, a shadow she hadn't fully faced. Instead of avoiding her mom, Rachel began writing letters to express her feelings, sharing her dreams and fears without expecting her mom to fully understand. She also invited her mom to visit her abroad, hoping to show her the life she'd built. During that visit, they had their first honest conversation in years, where Rachel's mom admitted she was scared of losing her daughter to a life she didn't understand. That moment of vulnerability was a turning point, helping Rachel see her mom as a person, not just a source of judgment. Carl Jung believed that individuation is a lifelong journey, and the mother-daughter relationship is one of its greatest teachers. By working through conflicts with your mom, you're not just solving arguments, you're learning to integrate all parts of yourself, from your strengths to your shadows. This process can feel daunting, but it's also empowering. It's about claiming your voice, setting boundaries, and building a relationship with your mom that honors both of you. So, how can you start this journey? Here are 3 practical steps inspired by Carl Jung's teachings. First, reflect on your triggers. The next time you clash with your mom, ask yourself, what does this bring up for me? Is it about her, or is it about my own fears? Writing in a journal can help you uncover these patterns. Second, have an honest conversation. Share your feelings with your mom. Not to change her, but to express who you are. Use I statements, like "I feel hurt" when my choices aren't supported, to keep the focus on your experience. Third, explore your identity. Try new things, whether it's a hobby, therapy, or meditation, to discover what makes you feel alive, separate from your mom's expectations. These steps aren't a quick fix, but they're a start. For Mia, it was about standing firm in her love for yoga and helping her mom see her passion. For Rachel, it was about rebuilding trust through open communication. Individuation is about small, brave steps toward being yourself while staying connected to the people you love. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to heal your relationship with your mom. But for now, let's pause and reflect. Think about a time you felt trapped by your mom's expectations or your own fears. What's one small step you could take to start claiming your true self? Hold that thought, because it's the beginning of your individuation journey. What if the arguments, the hurt, and the distance between you and your mom could become a bridge to a stronger, more honest connection? After exploring the shadow, the mother complex, and the journey of individuation, you might be wondering, how do we actually heal the wounds in a mother-daughter relationship? In this final chapter, we're diving into practical steps and heartfelt stories to show how you can transform conflict into understanding. Using Carl Jung's wisdom as your guide, healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about building a relationship that honors both your individuality and your bond. Let's explore how to make that happen. Healing a mother-daughter relationship starts with seeing each other as individuals, not just as mom or daughter. Carl Jung's concept of individuation teaches us that true connection comes from embracing your authentic self while respecting the other person's journey. This means letting go of old patterns like resentment, guilt, or the need to prove yourself, and creating space for vulnerability and compassion. It's not always easy, but the rewards are profound. A relationship where both of you feel seen, heard, and valued. Let's meet Ava, a woman in her mid-30s, who's been working to heal her relationship with her mom after years of tension. Ava's mom has always been overprotective, constantly worrying about Ava's safety and choices. From her friends to her career as a photographer, "You need to be careful," her mum would say, making Ava feel like she wasn't trusted to make her own decisions. Their arguments often ended with Ava pulling away, tired of feeling controlled. But deep down, Ava longed for a closer bond. Inspired by Carl Jung's ideas, she decided to approach her mom differently, focusing on understanding rather than reacting. Ava started by having an honest conversation. One evening, she invited her mom for coffee and shared how her constant worrying made her feel stifled. "I know you love me," Ava said, "but I need you to trust that I can handle my life." To her surprise, her mom opened up about her own fears, admitting that losing Ava's father early made her terrified of something happening to her daughter. This moment of vulnerability helped Ava see her mom's protectiveness not as control but as love shaped by loss. They agreed to set boundaries like no unsolicited advice, unless Ava asked, and started spending time together doing things they both enjoyed, like visiting art galleries. Slowly, their relationship grew into one of mutual respect and closeness. This story shows that healing begins with open communication. Carl Jung believed that facing the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is a key part of individuation. For daughters, this might mean sharing your feelings without blaming your mom. Use I statements, like "I feel hurt when my choices are questioned," to express yourself clearly. For mothers, it's about listening without getting defensive, recognizing that your daughter's journey is her own. These conversations don't have to solve everything at once. They're a starting point for understanding. Now, let's look at another example. Meet Lily, a woman in her late 20s, who felt distant from her mom after years of feeling judged. Lily's mom often criticized her for being too emotional, especially when Lily shared her struggles with anxiety. "You need to toughen up," her mom would say, leaving Lily feeling like her vulnerability was a weakness. For years, Lily kept her distance, only calling on holidays. But after learning about Carl Jung's idea of the shadow, Lily realized that her mom's criticism might reflect her own discomfort with emotions, perhaps a shadow she hadn't faced. Lily decided to try a different approach to reconnect. Instead of confronting her mom directly, Lily wrote her a letter. She shared how much she valued their relationship, but also how the criticism made her feel small. She invited her mom to join her for a mindfulness workshop, hoping to share something meaningful. To Lily's surprise, her mom not only attended, but opened up about her own struggles with anxiety, which she'd hidden for years. That shared experience became a turning point, helping them build a relationship based on empathy rather than judgment. They now make time for regular walks, where they talk openly about their lives, creating a bond stronger than ever. Lily's story highlights another key to healing shared experiences. Carl Jung saw relationships as a mirror for growth, and doing things together like cooking, walking, or even attending a class can create moments of connection that words alone can't. These activities don't have to be grand. They just need to be meaningful. For Ava, it was art galleries. For Lily, it was walks and workshops. Find something you and your mom both enjoy, and let those moments build trust and closeness. Here are 3 practical steps to start healing your relationship, inspired by Jung's teachings. First, practice empathy. Try to see your mom's perspective, her fears, her dreams, her struggles. Ask yourself what might be driving her behavior. This doesn't excuse hurt, but it helps you understand her as a person. Second, set healthy boundaries. Be clear about what you need, like space, to make your own choices, and communicate it with kindness. Boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges that protect your relationship. Third, create new memories. Plan small activities together, like watching a movie or cooking a meal, to build positive moments that replace old patterns of conflict. Healing takes time and courage, but it's worth it. For Ava, it meant understanding her mom's fears and setting boundaries that allowed them to connect. For Lily, it was about sharing vulnerability and creating new traditions. Carl Jung would say that healing your relationship with your mom is part of your individuation journey, a chance to grow into your true self while honoring the bond that shaped you. As you take these steps, you're not just mending a relationship, you're unlocking a deeper connection to yourself. Before we wrap up, let's reflect. Healing isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take toward understanding your mom and yourself is a step toward freedom. In the next chapter, we'll close with a powerful call to action. But for now, think about this. What's one thing you could do today to start healing your relationship with your mom? Hold that thought, because it's the beginning of something beautiful. And there you have it, a journey through the hidden truths behind mother-daughter conflicts. Guided by the profound wisdom of Carl Jung, we've explored the shadow, the mother complex, the power of individuation, and the steps to heal those deep, sometimes painful, tensions with your mom. But here's the truth: every argument, every moment of hurt is also a chance to grow closer, not just to your mom, but to the most authentic version of yourself. These clashes aren't just obstacles, they're invitations to understand your own heart and to build a relationship that's stronger, more honest, and filled with love. Think about it. Your mom is one of the most significant figures in your life. She's shaped who you are, for better or worse. And working through your conflicts is like unlocking a door to self-discovery, whether it's having that tough conversation, setting a boundary, or sharing a cute moment together. Every step you take is a step toward healing, not just for you and your mom, but for your own soul. As Carl Jung would say, the path to individuation is about embracing all parts of yourself, even the messy ones, and finding peace in the process. So, what's next? Don't let this be just another video you watch and forget. Take one small step today. Maybe it's writing a letter to your mom, sharing a memory that means something to both of you, or simply reflecting on what you've learned about yourself. Whatever it is, make it a moment that honors your journey. And we'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and tell us what's one thing you'll do to start healing your relationship with your mom, or to understand yourself better. Your story could inspire someone else watching this video. If this video touched you, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people searching for answers about their relationships. Share it with a friend who might need to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe to Young Psyche Hub and tap the bell icon so you never miss an insight into the psychology of self-discovery. We're here to guide you through Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, one video at a time. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, understanding your mom is also about understanding yourself. Here's to healing, growth, and becoming your truest self. See you in the next video.